Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Film Geek Maniac, where I'm going to be discussing Spider-Man Brand New Day with spoilers. So be warned, I'm your host, Constance Miller. The superhero movie is back, bitches! Oh, this is so awesome. As I said, I'm going to be discussing spoilers. I have no rhyme or reason as to what I'm going to discuss. I'll probably discuss things out of order. I didn't take notes because I was so excited to get started on this video. So, without further ado, wow. I'm not even sure where to begin. Well, let's go ahead and start with the opening title sequence. Usually it's a bunch of comic panels thrown about and the Marvel logo coming over it and whatnot. They decided to do a montage of the main characters from all the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And there was some wording that was thrown up, quotes from different movies. They flew by a little bit too fast for me to actually recognize them. And some of the clips also went by a little too fast for me to go, oh, that was this movie, and oh, I totally forgot that moment. So that was a little bit disappointing, but a very nice touch because it was very expositionary, and that way you didn't have to bog down the movie with all the backstory. So that was a really nice touch. I do appreciate that. So we basically start the movie with Peter doing his thing over the course of 4 years after the events of the last movie. And that was kind of cool too. Like I said, some of the clips were a little bit too quick, but still effective. And I really thought that they should have put in a clip of when Peter goes to Doctor Strange to do the spell. And I now get why they didn't, because they really wanted to focus on the main relationships in Peter's life. Aunt May, Ned, MJ, did I say 3 or 4? Oh well. The 3 main people in his life. So that was good, because for the casual viewer who has not seen the previous movies, this really definitely catches them up. And it also shows what Spider-Man has been up to during that time, and the different villains that he's faced, like the Hand, Scorpion, Tombstone, and that he's been working with the Department of Damage Control to apprehend villains. And so we basically get to present day, and Peter is still pining over MJ and missing Ned because due to the spell, they don't remember that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. and also mourning the loss of Aunt May. Um, so he's in a very bad place emotionally, and so he really dives into his role as Spider-Man, almost to an unhealthy level, and this triggers something in him that causes his senses to be heightened and to give him organic web shooters. And yeah, that there's some great moments in his discovery of that. And excuse me. And so that begins to trouble him a little bit because he gets sensory overloads. The organic web shooters are really not in his control. So he seeks out Bruce Banner to get advice from him on his inhibitor that he wears to hold back the Hulk. And so they have a really nice exchange. And I do have to say that the chemistry between Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo is astounding. It's a very short scene, but it sets it up really well for what happens later. And you also see that the Punisher, Frank Castle, has been interacting with Spider-Man, and they necessarily don't see eye to eye, but also good chemistry. John Bernthal, I knew he was going to have to be reined in a little bit in his performance and dialogue, but it still served the character well. And it's like Bernthal didn't bat an eyelash. He just seemed as natural as he has in previous Marvel projects. So that was cool. And there's this mysterious thing that's happening. Various offices of the Department of Damage Control are being broken into by this mysterious force, and Spider-Man is there to stop it, but he's not sure exactly how, because this person tends to jump from body to body, which makes them untraceable pretty much. And no one knows what the motivations are. So this is really kind of getting under Spider-Man's skin as he's trying to create an inhibitor for himself so that these newer abilities can get reined in. And he's not really all that successful at the beginning. So, I'm going to kind of cut to the chase a little bit here. So we learn that the person who is causing this damage at the Department of Damage Control, that's jumping from body to body, is a telepath. And she's a young woman by the name of Jean Grey. Now, this did get spoiled for me. I hadn't seen any clips. And for those of you who don't know, Jean Grey is my girl. She's been my favorite character in all of comicdom, ever since I was a teenager. And I was, when I heard about the role that she would be playing in this film, that, well, for one, it was going to be the villain. And I was like, no, don't do that to her. She's gone through 2 movies that have made her seem like she's out of control, can't control her powers, ends up hurting or killing people. And Jean is so much more than that. That's really only a small fraction of her character. So, and any of you who know Jean Grey's history knows that. So I was really worried. I was like, no, please don't do this. So I was very trepidatious going into this and wondering how they were going to treat my girl. And at first I was like, oh, they're doing it. They're really doing it. And I was like, oh, crazy. And you don't see Jean until pretty much halfway through the movie. You just basically get to see her embodying other people, which is a strange offset to her powers. That's something that maybe because she's portrayed as being much younger, that she hadn't set her moral compass to ask permission from people before she reads their minds or takes over their mind. So that could be a very good reason why. So that's interesting. So I'm trying to think of like what's coming around the corner here. I'm just so excited about this movie. And it's not biased because Jean Grey's in it. It's a good movie, regardless. I mean, it does help, but so Peter is still struggling with the inhibitor thing, his upgraded power sets, and still dealing with being lonely, and especially knowing that it was his choice to do it because he wanted to save the people that he loves, and keep them safe. So as time goes on, Peter discovers that this villain is Jean Grey, and is able to do a little bit of research on her. So his plan is to take an inhibitor and use it on her so that she can stop causing damage to these various buildings for the Department of Damage Control, and hurting people in the process. Yeah. So throughout the course of the movie, he runs into MJ, he runs into Ned. MJ has a new boyfriend. Ned's obsessed with trying to figure out who Spider-Man is. And, I hate the apartments next door to ours. Especially since my room is right next to their entrance, which somebody is exiting out of. It's one way. Sorry. Rant. So Ned's obsessed with finding out the true identity of Spider-Man. And there's lots of little clips here and there where, you know, Peter will think that fondly, and it gets to oh my gosh, it gets to a point where Jean basically tells Spider-Man that he better back off or she's gonna harm MJ, because she had been in his mind and knows how much he loves her. So Spider-Man goes out to protect MJ, and there's this scene where they kind of take a pause on top of a building, and MJ's like, Peter? Like, oh my gosh. Like, she remembers. And so they have like this like gut-wrenching conversation, and MJ lifts up the lower half of Peter's mask. They kiss and make out, and then she reveals that Jean is inside of her, and she was torturing him. That was amazing. And so, so Peter, Spider-Man, decides that he's got to keep MJ safe. So, he takes her to stay at Frank's. And of course, you know, he's gruff and he's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm not a babysitter. But eventually he caves and allows MJ to stay there. And Peter continues to work on his inhibitors, all the while, you know, kind of bonding with MJ as if they don't know each other, which was well done. So yeah, so Peter gets a hit on Jean's location. She's about ready to attack another Department of Damage Control building. He's not sure of her motivation, why she's doing it. So he just really wants to get to the bottom of it and make sure she doesn't harm anyone else. So, after he leaves, MJ was like, you've got to go with him to Frank. And he was like, no, he told me to stay here and keep an eye on you. And she's like, no, I'm telling you to go keep an eye on him. So that was cute. And before we get into some more of the story, the chemistry with all the main characters in this movie is just astounding. Tom Holland and Zendaya have such great chemistry. It just oozes off the screen, and it's no wonder that they got married in real life. And I'm sure it's even more phenomenal in real life than it is on screen. So, but you can tell. And it's just, and the writing is so good. The characterizations are just off the charts. Yeah. Is that all I want to say for right now on that? I think so. Oh, the little touches of humor that are in here. And it's smart, witty humor. And that is really awesome. Because we've had so many Marvel movies that have used, like, stupid, like, jokes. So yeah, that was really refreshing. Yeah, and Frank and MJ kind of have like a little bond, where at first they were both very like standoffish to each other, and Frank's this big tough guy and doesn't, take any shit, and MJ gives it right back and won his respect. And then she respected him. So that was really cute, and that's where a little bit of that humor comes in as well. I feel like I'm skipping something. Well, I'm not doing this in chronological order anyways. But let me go ahead and talk about the action scenes. Now, these are some of the best action scenes that I've seen in a Marvel movie since, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And also by the same director. Intense, fast-paced, you can feel the stakes, and I forget how it is that they meet up again, but I think it's Jean that shows that to Spider-Man that she has Bruce Banner's inhibitor armband, and so he starts freaking out. He's like, "Holy shit!" So his best thing is like, I need to make sure to get wherever Bruce Banner is, get everybody out of the way because it's gonna go down. And it does, because Jean is in Bruce's head. And Punisher shows up, so there's like this three-way battle. And that was excellently done. Great use of slow motion in less than a handful of scenes, but great use of slow motion. So eventually Jean gets into Frank's head. Hulk loses it and becomes Angry Hulk. And there's a big battle there. And the stakes are high. Peter's powers are going wonky. And it's just, it was done so well. So freaking well. And the action sequences in downtown New York City were just wonderful as well. Like, due to the direction and I'm not sure how much practical photography was used as Spider-Man swinging from building to building, but the way that they made it kind of made you feel the dips and the swing ups, and that is something I never felt before in any of the previous Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. So that was really cool. I liked that. A couple of them seemed really CGI, but I could forgive it. So it gets down to the point where Spider-Man is able to get an inhibitor that he made on the back of Hulk's neck. He reverts back to Bruce Banner and taken into custody. And Peter continues to go on his way to find Jean Grey. And the Punisher is like, if you can't stop her, you need to kill her. And if you don't, I will. And Peter's like, no, I can't do that. And I'm not going to let you do that. Oh crap, I think I got something mixed up. But anyways. they get to where Jean's at. She ends up getting captured by the Department of Damage Control. And we find out her motivations for why she's doing what she's doing. And basically it boils down to that the department kidnapped her sister Sarah and was basically doing experiments on her, which eventually killed her. So Jean just basically wants revenge, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. So that doesn't really make her a villain per se. So I was kind of elated with that. It's like, okay, she's got deep motivations. What she's doing is still wrong, but at least now we know why. And it just makes her really sympathetic. And I was really, really glad that they did that. It doesn't mean she's out of the woods yet, though. So, I don't want to get really into the end so much, just because I don't want to ruin everything for anyone who's watching this that hasn't seen it yet. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about character dynamics. Everybody is so well written. And so well portrayed by the amazing cast. Tom Holland did an excellent job. I know he's not going to be playing Spider-Man forever, but if he could at least have a career as long as Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, I would be okay with that. Let's go ahead and talk about some cameos. Florence Pugh shows up as Yelena Belova, and she has a really good scene with Peter. And there are definitely moments that made me chuckle aloud. So it was nice to see her. I haven't watched Thunderbolts yet, so I really don't know how her character has progressed since we saw her in the Black Widow movie. So yeah, maybe I'll watch that soon. So we get Yelena, obviously Bruce Banner, Hulk, Punisher. Some of the villains. Scorpion is put to good use in this movie. I really liked his tail. I didn't like his armor so much. So I was like, but at one point he's got Jean in his head, so that was a really cool sequence. And a good use of the character. Like, I couldn't give two flying F's about Scorpion, but this kind of made him look a little cool. You also get to see Tombstone for a hot second, and the Shocker. So we got little hints of classic Spidey villains, and that was really, really kind of a nice touch. And none of it really seemed forced. It wasn't like, oh, here's so-and-so just so you can geek out. It felt organic. So at the end of the movie, Jean is redeemed. With the help of Peter. And she could have gone completely off the rails. But Peter helped to rein her in. And so they have this mutual understanding of what it's like to be alone. And they kind of really bond over that. And it's very touching. There are so many scenes in this movie that pulled at my heartstrings. And, like, I was literally just, like, lightly wiping away tears. And it's all because of the writing, the directing, the actors' chemistry. Yeah. This... So good. So good. And I think I can only really recall right now, like, 3 scenes that made me feel that way. So it's not like this movie was bogged down by emotional baggage, because it wasn't. But when those scenes did happen, they were so powerful. Oh, loved it. So necessarily all's not right with the world by the end of the movie. MJ knows, but she doesn't remember still. She knows he's Peter Parker, but she has no idea who he is, that they were in love. And she actually flat out tells him she doesn't love him, but has respect for him. And so we get to see Spider-Man and Ned bond, and that's a cute little thing because it's such a throwback to the past movies. But if you don't know that, that's fine. It's not a requirement. The very last scene in the movie was one of those things that just made me... Oh, see, I'm choking up already. Yeah. So that's the basics in a nutshell, including some spoilers. Not all. And I will say, because not only is Jane redeemed at the end, I mean, she still did bad stuff. But there is actually a true villain behind everything, and it's not her. So I personally wouldn't call her a villain. And once again, I'm not saying that because I'm biased, because she's my girl. But it was handled really well. And the actual villain that I'm not going to spoil is a very interesting plot twist on how it was created. With the I wish I could remember the actor who plays the character I'm thinking of, but yeah, I'm trying to think if I've heard a lot of people have a problem with Spidey's suit. I didn't have an issue with it. There were points where you could see it wrinkle in the wind as he's swinging from his web, and I thought that was kind of cool. Not everything needs to be skin tight. Although we did get a couple scenes of Tom Holland in just his underwear, I appreciated that. Yeah. A very, very well done movie. Well shot. Awesome action sequences. I can't think of one that disappointed me at all. the fight sequence with the hand, which you've seen in teasers and trailers. Not all of it, obviously. That was stunning. I'm trying to think of. Oh, oh, no, I won't spoil that. That's too good of a touching moment to spoil for people. Let's just say, I will say, just for the people who have seen it, it's the scene at the hospital. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, kudos to Destin Daniel Cretton for directing this movie, and I I really also enjoyed Shang-Chi that he directed. And, I forgot what his next project is. Damn it. Oh well, but, all the flowers to him. All the flowers to him, yes. Um, he can direct as many Marvel movies as they'll allow him to, and as long as he wants to. I would love to see his work over and over again. And once again, I'm gonna say Tom Holland is so good, and it's so interesting too, because in the little flashbacks that we get to other movies, you get to basically see him from a teenager to an adult, and you can tell the difference. And they really picked the right themes to show. I do want to say that I found Ned to be really annoying in the previous movies, but I really liked him here. I did. I really liked him here. So they did a wonderful job handling his character, and of course the performance. Yeah. Oh, duh. Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. For anyone that knows me that's watching this, you're probably going, is she going to end this without talking about Sadie Sink? I almost did. It was kept secret who she was playing for a long time. There was, rumors and speculation that she was going to be playing Jean Grey. And I remember sitting back and reading those rumors and going, what would Jean be doing in a Spider-Man movie? So they did that really well. And massive kudos on how the body jumping was portrayed. That was really cool. I don't like that they call it body jumping. Oh, that's another thing. Well, still on the subject of Jean Grey. Now, where was I going? My ADHD is... Yeah. Sadie Sink. She did a really good job. I'm not familiar with her work. She was on Stranger Things, I think, and I never watched it. Don't know why. Yeah, don't know why. So I was unfamiliar with her, so I was really, really worried about how she was going to be portraying Jean, and I think she was great. I really like how they handled her, how she portrayed her. I like that when she used her powers, it wasn't always hand to the head that you see so often when it comes to her. Even Professor X, Emma Frost, all these telepaths, you have to portray them with their hand to their head in order to know that they're using their telepathy. Here, she will either close her eyes for a few seconds and be completely still, or she'll just go. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was brilliant. So yeah, a good handling of how she's using her powers. I want to say that probably it's going to do it. Just massive kudos to everybody involved in this movie. Everybody. You can tell the hard work. You can see it. You can see it because it's done so well. This is how comic book movies, superhero movies, should be done. And that's why I opened with superhero movies are back. This is ushering in the new age of superhero films. Bring it. Because we've had they were drowning. I thought for sure, like, the whole genre was going to implode and stay dead. And I can't really say much for DC, except, unless there's a Batman movie, I'll see that. But from what I've heard about Supergirl, and other upcoming projects that are kind of, I mean, they don't really interest me, so I can't really, give a great opinion on it, but it's just the characters over there aside the Batman universe is the only aspect I care about. So, and the last Batman movie to come out, I thought was really good. So, so hopefully DC can pick up on this as well, because I know a lot of DC fans, and they want to see their characters handled as well, if not better, than the characters in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Thank you so much for watching this. It's not as long as I thought it was going to be. But thanks for sticking with me and listening to me ramble. And if you have seen the movie and want to talk a little bit about it, do so in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say. I'd love to hear what you think about my opinion on the film. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever Red and Slim Productions uploads a video. And if you're inclined to help the channel grow, excuse me, how unladylike, you can do so by clicking the links in the description. I hope you enjoyed I enjoyed this movie so much. It's probably gonna be on my list of best superhero films of all time. So yeah, love and light to you all.